Hey, you did it. You found it. You found the podcast version of the show. It's Writer Radio. Here are the things you need to know. We stream live Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to noon Eastern Time at writerradio.com. 2, you can find every episode on YouTube, youtube.com/@writerradio. We're on Spotify, same name, Writer Radio. We are on Twitter or X @BradWriter, BradRiter. We're on Instagram @Writer Radio. There's a group now, Writer Radio Facebook group. Go there, find that, follow that, like it, whatever you have to do. We've got a phone number. You can send texts, leave voicemail, 716-288-5246. Email, bradwriter@gmail.com. You don't need to memorize this. It can all be found at writerradio.com. That's the hub. But those are the places. Thanks for listening. Please tell a friend. Please share. That's how we grow. Glad to have you on board to the podcast version of Writer Radio. Welcome to Friday, episode 140 of Writer Radio. Streaming live at writerradio.com every Monday through Friday, 10 to noon. Glad to have you on board. Thanks for listening. Thanks for sharing. That's, again, the most important part. You see a post online, don't just look at it. Don't just like it. Share it. Simplest way to grow the show is to have you as an ambassador for the show. You're already a listener. You're tuning in. You're seeking it out. Share with others. That's all I ask. Right now, I'll have more demands as the situation becomes more critical. But right now, I'm just asking, just share. Just share. Be cool. All right, here's where we will start today. Good job. Words aren't coming out the right way, and then I'm going to turn down the music and turning down myself instead. So that's a pretty good start at 10 after 10 a.m. as we're just getting rolling on this thing. All right, yesterday was Thursday. As it is the summer, as it is, we're kind of wrapping things up. Like, back to school stuff is legit now. We're less than a month from that. We're 20 days from UB football season starting. We're a month minus a day from the Bills opening against the Ravens on Sunday Night Football at Highmark Stadium. So football is coming. School is returning. And that means that when you've got season passes for Darien Lake, you should start using them. It's great to have them. It's nice because you don't have to commit a whole day. You can, hey, we got a couple hours. Let's go ride a couple of roller coasters, whatever. Got 3 kids. I don't think my wife has been there yet this year. We're going to change that by going again very soon, maybe today even. But we went last night. I took my 2 older sons, so the 13-year-old, the 11-year-old, the 13-year-old's friend who's probably 14. I think he's a grade older. And I took all of them. The little guy didn't want to go because he wanted to go to the water park, but it was too late for the water park, and he only wanted to go if mom was going, and she didn't want to. Like, it didn't work out for all of us to go. But still, the oldest one brought it up early in the day. Hey, any chance we can go to Darien Lake today? I said, yeah, I think there is a chance. I don't have any reason to rule it out. So I finished the show a little after 12:30 or so. Did some editing. By the time we get to like 1 o'clock, I'm good to go. But then it's determined we're not all going to go at the same time because the middle guy doesn't want to go, and now it's just the oldest one and his friend and me, and we're not doing that. But eventually, we decide on like 5 o'clock or something. We'll head out there, or 4:30, whatever it is. We'll head out there. I have it in my head. And this is where I just am going to sound stupid. And I know that. I know people are going to disagree, say this is disgusting, but I believed until yesterday in Long John Silver's as an excellent fast food restaurant. Okay? I know I'm not. This is not a popular opinion. I haven't looked it up to see what people really think of Long John Silver's. I like Long John Silver's. I still think hush puppies are delicious. I like fish. I think the fish you get there, it's super hot. I know this all sounds very stupid and gross. If you think Long John Silver's is disgusting, like most people do, including my wife, I get it. But this was an opportunity. There's only one in the area, okay? It's in Batavia. In my mind, I want to just take you through this series of ridiculous decisions that I made yesterday that led to... Here's what sounded appealing to me. Are you ready for this? This is what sounded appealing to me. What sounded appealing was my wife doesn't want to go, so now I can go to Long John Silver's. Batavia is kind of near Darien Lake. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 3. So Zach, the oldest, likes to ride everything. Nate, he went on the Predator twice yesterday, but he doesn't want to go on Ride of Steel. He doesn't want to go on Upside Down thing. Like, I get it. It's fine. He's 11. He's not super into the craziness. So if I bring Zach and his friend, who's also into going on everything, and then I bring Nate, I'll just hang out with Nate all day. I'll walk around, go wherever he wants to go. If he wants to go on something cool, if he wants to go on nothing, that's fine. But there's not going to be the fighting between Zach and Nate about, why don't you go on this? Don't be a wimp. Like, that stuff isn't going to happen because Zach can just go off with his buddy. And then we'll catch up with them here and there. But he's old enough. He's got a phone. Like, I can stay in touch with them. It works out fine. That's the plan. My plan, though, involves we're going to leave early. I didn't really eat lunch. So this was like 3 o'clock that the plan was coming together. I hadn't eaten anything, and I was already like, all right, let's go. And then I started thinking about hush puppies at Long John Silver's and fish, too. And so I made this whole elaborate plan. We're going to go to Darien Lake by way of Batavia. I will buy late lunch / early dinner for Zach, Nate, and Zach's friend Robert. And we're all going to go eat fish. And then when we get to the park, Zach and Robert can go wander off by themselves. I'll hang with Nate. I'm going to bring my headphones, my earbuds. I'm going to listen to podcasts. I'm going to walk around for 3 hours. Like 6 to 9 p.m. is roughly when we're going to be there. I'm going to walk around for 3 hours. I could probably get in 2 hours worth of podcast listening. I've got all kinds of stuff backed up. It's getting heavier now that football's coming around, and I'm more interested again in the sports podcasts that I tend to listen to during football season, but not during the rest of the year. So that's the plan. We're going to go to Long John Silver's, followed by Darien Lake, where I'm going to listen to podcasts. Well, we couldn't have been 5 minutes from home when I realized I did not have my sunglasses. So there's strike number one. Strike number one, I've got no sunglasses. Around the time I realized I don't have sunglasses, I realized forgot my headphones. So now the plan to walk around Darien Lake listening to podcasts is shot. And by the way, I didn't have my Fitbit either, so I'm not getting credit for the steps. All right, I'm losing out on that because that's charging and sitting right next to me. I'm seeing that now. No Fitbit, no headphones. I go to take, so we're in Amherst. We live in Amherst. I use the Google Maps to navigate to Long John Silver's in Batavia. The thing tells me to just take Sheridan to Main and then just take Main Street forever into Batavia, and it's going to take me 39 minutes to get to Long John Silver's. I like Long John Silver's. It's not worth a 39-minute drive, I promise you. So I abort that those directions. I say, you know what? You're not as smart as you think you are, Google. We're going to take the thruway. And then we're going to go to Batavia, and then we're going to go to Darien Lake. Well, even with the modified directions, like, you don't have to tell it you're changing your mind. You just change your mind. And then Google's like, oh, doo-doo-doo, and it changes, the plan. So it's like, oh, you're on the thruway now. I guess we'll just take the thruway. The Google map, and I haven't looked it up to see if Google was wrong or right. It feels like Google was wrong. The Google map still has me get off at Route 77, which is the way you would go to get to Darien Lake, not to go to Batavia. I want to go one exit past it, eat delicious fish and hush puppies, and then come back to Darien Lake. And I know it's still going to be, it's going to be a 12-minute drive or something back from the Batavia thing, but so what? That's no big deal. Well, it turns out this thing has me get off at 77, and then we have to go 18 miles on Main Street. But I was committed at this point. I was committed to Long John Silver. Silver or Silvers? Well, I think it's Silvers. But regardless, I was committed. My brain, I decided at like 3 o'clock this was going to work because my wife's not going, so I can eat greasy fish. She would find it disgusting to go there. I know she would. I've been there twice recently. Once when we were going to Batavia to watch our friends play baseball. Nate and I went, and we liked it. Nate likes fish, so it's a good fit. And they're like, come on, Zach and Robert, we're going to the fish place. It's great. You're going to love hush puppies. We get there. It turns out Long John Silver is connected. It's a KFC and a Long John Silver. So I'm there because of Long John Silver. Zach and his friend are just ordering like it's KFC, spicy chicken sandwich with mac and cheese, whatever. Fine. You don't have to eat the stuff I came here to eat. Cool. And then Nate does get something from you got like chicken and shrimp. Good enough. I get fish and hush puppies, and I am happy. Until they're out of tartar sauce. I wouldn't have driven to Long John Silver's if I knew tartar sauce wasn't going to be there. Or I would have brought my own tartar sauce. But they didn't appear to have mayonnaise. Like, I could have made it myself. Give me some pickles. Give me some. But they're unresponsive. It's the same way in every fast food place now. You're expected to order from an app or order at a kiosk, and the people who are there expect to interact with the humans as little as possible, which would be cool if they left, like, the sauces and the forks and the straws and the ketchup, the condiments, the word I'm looking for. Condiments, if they were accessible to the man who is just visiting, but they're not accessible. So you've got to convince someone to come near the front of the store just to talk to you. And this was just to have a conversation first about a missing item we had from our order. And then say, hey, can I get some tartar sauce? Guy's like, unfortunately, we won't have tartar sauce until tomorrow. I was like, well, I'd like to return my fish. I didn't say that, but I don't want the fish anymore. The fish, I was supposed to get the lemon juice and the tartar sauce. That's what I came for. And then I want something to dip the hush puppies in, but there's no real option. The sauces, the condiments are all behind the counter. No one's looking at me. I can't tell what's what. There's like a KFC side and then a Long John Silver side. I end up with lemon juice and malt vinegar, and that's what I got to put on my fish, and that's not okay. So I'm mad at them. The drive was way worse than I thought it would be. Batavia is not near Darien Lake. That's on me. That's me just being stupid. I didn't have my headphones. I didn't have my sunglasses. I didn't have my Fitbit, but let's do it anyway. We're going to do this. So we finish eating. On the way out, use the men's room. Now, I'm already in my head, I don't think I'm going to Long John Silver's anymore. I'm not ruling it out, but this was not a good experience at all. The fish was burnt. There was no tartar sauce. It was one of those things, too, where here's the other thing with fast food restaurants now. If you don't know the menu and you don't know the system, you're going to get robbed in that place. Because as soon as you order something, you're going to see a sign where you could have gotten a better deal on the exact same thing. But they don't tell you this because they are not programmed to interact with you. The workers at the restaurants are not programmed to interact with you anymore. So I ordered, it was like 2 pieces of fish plus hush puppies, plus you get a side. I got more hush puppies. So I get 2 pieces of fish and 4 hush puppies and a drink for, $8 or something. Fine. But then I see, I could have gotten 2 pieces of fish, 2 for $6. So I could have gotten 4 pieces of fish for $6 instead of 2 pieces for $8. And I would have bought more hush puppies. It would have been fine. For $8, I would have got twice the fish and probably twice the hush puppies if I had the time. But I didn't have the time because I walk in and I've got 3 kids trying to pick stuff out too. So I go last. I'm like, fish. I came for fish. But if I had known there was no tartar sauce, I wouldn't have had fish. If I had known there was no tartar sauce, I wouldn't have even gone. So it's already in my head. I don't like this place anymore. I liked it a month and a half ago when I went there. I don't like it I liked it when I was a kid. I don't like it anymore. The hush puppies weren't as good. Turns out Nate doesn't like hush puppies. The other 2 kids didn't even try hush puppies. Like, what are we doing? Why do we drive 40 minutes to get to Long John Silver's? It was stupid. It's stupid. That's all me. I understand. But I'm just telling you, I was excited about once in a while. I don't do this every day. This is twice in 30 years I've been to Long John Silver. Does it have an S on it? Just look it up, stupid. Long John Silver's. The possessive. It's got the apostrophe. Yeah, there it is. Okay. They give it 3.7. I'm going to read some of these reviews. I gave it a 2-star review while I was sitting there. I'm not proud of this, but I didn't write anything. I just was like 2, 2, 2, 2. The killer, the big finish. After I've already decided, all right, we're done. Let's go. We've got a long way back to Darien Lake. Let's get in the car. I used the men's room real quick. I went number 1. There's somebody going. There's somebody in the stall. Okay, so it's a 2-person bathroom. There's a urinal and a stall. And in the time that I used the urinal and washed my hands, the person who was in the stall left the bathroom. Just left. I didn't hear I didn't hear a flush. I didn't make eye contact. I didn't see this person because my back is to the person coming out of the stall. The person comes out of the stall and just leaves the bathroom. And my first thought was, I hope that I see a new customer in the dining room because there are not that many people there. It was us and probably 2 other tables of people. And I came out and there was no new person in the dining room. And I asked the kids if they saw anybody come out of the bathroom while I was in there, and they did not. But I looked around and I saw a new person in the kitchen. So after I already didn't like the vast majority of things that had happened at Long John Silver's, including the trip there that was much longer than I expected it to be, I was just blinded by hush puppies, man. Now, pretty sure that someone used the men's room and then returned to just cooking without even considering washing of hands. So I just rolled that all into 2 stars across the board type of review for Long John Silver's, and I do not anticipate going out of my way to go there again anytime soon because the experience was absolutely awful. Okay, that's part 1 of my story. It's 10:25. That's part 1 of my story. I'm going to cross off Long John Silver's. We then are driving from Batavia back to Darien. And to do that, you take Main Street and just reverse where you just were. Take Main Street back to 77. Then we're going to make a left on 77. And typically that's about a 7-minute drive or something from when you get off the thruway at Route 77, the Pembroke, Medina, I believe it is, exit. Is that right? Whatever it is. Route 77. Take that south for 7 minutes, 8 minutes, and then suddenly you'll see Ride of Steel, and you get in the right lane, and you loop around, you pull in. Well, I still had the map going because I couldn't believe how long it was saying it was going to take. It was like a 20-minute trip, it said, back to Darien Lake. And we did like 3 minutes of it, and then it was time to turn, and we turn on 77, and now the thing still said like 19 minutes. Like, in what world is it going to take us 19 minutes to get from here to Darien Lake? That's stupid. And then I saw how traffic was working. It was incredibly slow. It was horrible. And I doubt it took 19 minutes. It probably took 12 instead of 7 or something like that. But it was slow going, and not like crazy clogged up, we're trying to go to a Bills game type of situation. Not that. It was just a little slow. You'd end up at a red light, and you'd be the 10th car, and then 8 cars would get through, and you'd have to wait. And it was that. It was that kind of a slog to get from Long John Silver's back to Darien Lake so the kids could ride the roller coasters. Eventually, I said, is there a concert tonight? And Zach looked on his phone, and he said, no. And then as we got closer, and I could see that traffic was backed up basically to Broadway, like coming the other way. Heading north on 77, making a right into Darien Lake was just jam-packed. I said there has to be a concert. And there was a concert. There was a Thomas Rhett concert, who I don't know anything about him aside from seems like a country singer. That's kind of my impression. I don't know. I hear Thomas Rhett, I think of Rhett Miller, and that's a different guy. That's old 97s, I think. I'm inclined to like a person named Thomas Rhett, but I don't know who he is. So anyway, I wasn't going to the show, but a lot of people were. There was a sizable crowd, and it was absolute chaos pulling into the parking lot. So they've got those things set up, the like toll booth type of situation where you pull through, and typically you would have to hit a park or show them your season pass or do whatever it is. Nobody's in them. Nobody's directing traffic. Nobody's doing anything. So there are cars are coming in from 7 different lanes and just merging triangularly into one spot to try to find their way through. Because of the concert, because of our arrival time, it is assumed that we're there for the concert. And we end up stuck. You can't park right away. It says lot full, even though you can see the lot's not full, because they don't want you parking there if you're going to the concert. So we go to pull in, can't get in, and have to just get in line and sit there in this ridiculous Thomas Rhett traffic line full of school buses and passenger vans, big 12-person vans. There's just stuff. and no direction, no nothing, no, what would you call them? Let's say crossing guards. You know what I mean? Traffic cops. You know what I'm saying? None of those people with the wands, the sticks. No one directing traffic. Eventually, after sitting in this line for, I don't know, another 16 minutes, I get to a point where there's a cop. I'm in the left lane. I'm way beyond where I'm trying to go. I'm heading back toward those silos where the concerts are. And I'm like halfway there. And I'm in the left lane. I see a cop. I'm like, I'm just trying to go to the park. Can I go through this little opening here? And he's like, oh, yeah, sure. Good. So we got out of it. Then we parked. And then everything was fine. Here is the other observation, though, about a day at Darien Lake during a Thomas Rhett concert. I've never attended a country music show in my life. But I am curious to know from those of you who have, or those of you who've been around it. Maybe you've been an usher. Maybe you've worked security. Maybe you just been there. I don't know. Are costumes mandatory? The number of cowboy boots I saw yesterday and cowboy hats I saw yesterday was absolutely ridiculous. And I am conscious of what I wear when I go to a concert. But it's more for like comfort / don't stand out. Like don't wear a tuxedo to a metal show. Is really like that's the extent of it to me. It would never occur to me that if the singer has a bit of a southern accent, I need to buy snakeskin boots. Would not have crossed my mind to it looked like Halloween. It looked like the Wild West show at Fantasy Island. Like, people might as well have had revolvers in holsters as they were standing in line for the Viper in advance of the Thomas Rhett show at Darien Lake yesterday. What is that? What is the story with dressing like a cowboy to see country music? Is that a thing? I mean, I've seen the extent of my knowledge of country music's live performance is like pictures from Taste of Country that will show up on Facebook. And I'll see, like, I didn't know my cousin had a cowboy hat. And I'm like, whatever, he's kind of cool. I guess he could pull it off. But you get there, and it's just masses of people, hordes of people, decked out like it's line dancing. Like they're going line dancing. But they're not. They're at Darien Lake to watch a concert. And they're all dressed like they might have to herd cattle. Because the singer's accent is Southern? Now, I thought about it, and maybe it's no different from the late 80s, early 90s, when I would attend metal shows. Not even metal, like hair metal shows. And you would see the girl from biology class who, I mean, granted, the girls all had the big hair back then. But you would see them, and suddenly it was like, oh, she's in all black today, and her hair is twice the size it used to be. Maybe it's the same thing. Maybe, I mean, not for guys. I don't feel like guys get decked out for concerts. Maybe you wear a band T-shirt. Hey, I like music. This isn't the only band I like. Or maybe you wear the band of the show. The shirt of the band you're seeing. Which, while it was decried in the film PCU, it's fine. Went to see the Killers. I saw a lot of people in Killer shirts. But I didn't see people dressed up like they were in the Killers. Like, nobody's wearing a Brandon Flowers sequin jacket. You can't pull that off. He's 5'5", 130 pounds. You can't do that. So dress like a person who's going to an outdoor concert. Well, dress like a person who's going to be on stage. Is that a exclusive country thing? Anybody who's been to one of these shows, if you've got a chance to jump into the chat and let me know anything about this, I would love to hear from you. Because it was jarring, the number of cowboys who had descended upon, was that Genesee County? I think it's probably Genesee County. Whatever, Darien Lake. What was going on? Now, the good news is, despite all the traffic, once we got in there, and especially as it got later and all the cowboys were heading through the gate to go over to the show, the place was dead. It was one of those stay on the Predator 3 times in a row type of nights, which is super cool for the kids. But I was there with no headphones, just looking at cowboys, dissatisfied with my fish and the filthy chef. And nobody ate hush puppies but me. Even Nate got 2 of them, took a bite of one. He's like, I don't really like these. Do you want my other one? So I did get a bonus hush puppy. That was a positive. But that was before I saw the cook take a dump and then go to the kitchen without washing his hands. So that was my night. How are you? We've got Scott Wilson's going to join me. We'll see what he has to say about the world. I'm sure he watched Hard Knocks. I watched Hard Knocks again last night. I've now seen it 3.5 times. It's 1 episode. I like our football team, man. I'm excited. I would not be surprised if I watch it again tonight. My wife hasn't seen it yet, and I've been telling her she has to watch it. So that might be what we do tonight. I might talk her into that. And 2 of the kids watched 1 episode, or watched the first episode once. I've now watched 3 times. I can't get enough. I can't wait for the next one. Very excited. All right, let's look at the chat here before I play a song. And Scott Wilson's going to join me after 11. Play some Garth Brooks, LOL. I don't hate Garth Brooks. I don't hate the... Oh, that was yesterday. Oh, wow, that's funny. You were talking about Garth Brooks yesterday, and I'm talking about country music today. All right, the new stuff. Here we go. Hush Puppies are amazing, correct. Team Hush Puppies, correct. Or maybe not Batavia Hush Puppies. Well, they were good the first time, and they were bad this time because of all the other stuff. And then the guy with the hands, I don't assume any kitchen is clean. I don't assume any cook behaves. I just don't want to see it. I don't want to know it for sure. So I'm not saying I'll never be back. It just was not a good experience. And you can't, like, I've been to KFC when they're out of chicken. That one, I guess, is worse than a fish place being out of tartar sauce. But, like, that's the experience. I wanted the super hot fish with the tartar sauce. You cut it with the... All right. Rhett Warner. No, not Rhett Warner. Rhett Miller. And then Eric... No, not Eric Rhett. Eric Rhett was a running back. Thomas Rhett is this guy that was there last night. I listened to a couple of his songs today. They're fine. I will say this about country music and the way that all these young cowboys were in attendance. It's the closest thing to what we used to listen to when I was, 18. Like pre-Nirvana, we'll say. When Poison ruled the world, it was pop music that had a little bit of a different flavor to it because it had hair. This is pop music with a little different flavor because it's got a southern accent, a little twang. But it's really kind of the same thing. I am somewhat appreciative that many people are showing up to see live music with like guitars and things. It's not computer generated. It's not, it's not mumble rap. There's something there. It's music. And if your sensibilities are not offended like mine are, you could enjoy it. I get it. I get why people like it. I look down on it. I can't help but look down on it. It seems embarrassing to me to dress up in a costume to go listen to a band. That's weird. And then the song, like every song I hear, it's like, I like this, but there's just a little too much cheese involved. In the same way that I'm sure you could say that, my wife would say that about Queensryche. So I get that. Go see Queensryche. I didn't dress up like I was from Seattle to go see Queensryche. Did we dress up like we were from Seattle to go see Soundgarden? I guess. When Soundgarden played and Nirvana played and Pearl Jam played, did we dress like them? We were dressing like them then. So I don't know. Maybe it's not that different. It just strikes me as so just put upon and goofy to see, the regular guy who typically, he works in an office. This guy's in HR. But Thomas Rhett is in town, so he's wearing a cowboy hat and boots. And I don't like it. It's just me. All right. Hey, Tex, grow up and get yourself a wardrobe consistent with the century you're living in, which is a George Carlin quote, or so says Duke. All the punk shows I went to in the 80s and 90s, guys and gals wore their boots and chains and such, but they wore that all the time. so it wasn't like they were dressing up for the occasion. And then another one, my wife and mom used to go to Toby Keith every year. They wore cowboy hats. The one day a year they would. All right. I see when somebody I know, like Meg can wear a cowboy hat. That's cool. I like Meg in a cowboy hat. I don't like 18,000 people in cowboy hats pretending like it's normal. It's like at the Village people were playing and everyone dressed as a construction worker. And like a couple Indians and a cop. What else did they have? A surgeon? No, I made that one up. A clown? That would be a good one. If the Village people had a clown. But it's like dressing up like Kiss to go see Kiss. What are you doing? Let them be Kiss. You go watch it. You're not in the band. We don't need you in costume. All right, I'm going to play a song. Should I play a country song? I don't have any country songs. I don't think I do. What's the closest I have to country? Country adjacent. Because there was a time, and I bet you all remember this, where someone would ask, what kind of music do you listen to? What was the standard answer? What was this very, very standard answer to what kind of music do you listen to? Anything but country, right? Remember that? That was a very standard thing. Anything but country. And then it hit me that between like Fish and Wilco and Steve Earle, like Jason Isbell, Drive-By Truckers, I listen to a lot of things that are country adjacent, but that I would not consider to be country. But I get like the flavor of it. I like. I like the twang. I like the snarl that comes with some of it. But I like the dirty kind of country, not the polished pretty boy country. And whatever. I'm not here to bash the music. The music was fine. I listened to some of it today, and like he seems okay. Not my thing, but not terrible. It wouldn't force me to run out of a room if that music was playing. But also, I have found that I've got there's a country thing to some of the music that I like. Here's an example. I'm gonna play a little Steve Earle, and I played this song on the show before, but I'm gonna play it anyway. This dude is definitely Southern, and this is definitely country tinge, but he's rock. He's a rock / folk / Southern, a little bit of country musician, and I'm into that. It's just, to me, this is genuine, and that other stuff is just a little too fake, a little too put upon for me to enjoy. All right, time out. I'm Brad Ryder. It's Ryder Radio, August 8th, 2025, episode 140. I should play Convoy. I will, after I feel all right. This portion of Ryder Radio has been deleted for the podcast version. If you want to hear everything that happens, listen live weekdays 10 to noon at ryderradio.com. All right, there's our country-inspired little block of hits. We heard Japanese Cowboy by Ween. We heard Convoy by C.W. McCall. Trying to Love Two Women, Oak Ridge Boys. And I Feel All Right, Steve Earle. That's what I got after seeing a bunch of cowboy boots and cowboy hats yesterday. We have a special guest in studio. His name is Zach. He's 13. He's my son. What's up, man?
Not much.
How are you?
Pretty good.
What'd you think of Long John Silver's last night?
I mean, I didn't even get, like, fish.
No,
but
you got Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Yeah, but...
It was a bad experience.
Yeah.
All of it was a mess.
Yeah, it wasn't
I made
great.
a mistake trying to go there. They didn't have tartar sauce. That was stupid. And that guy that was in the bathroom and just went back into the kitchen without washing his hand, I didn't like that.
Yeah, that was bad.
That was bad. But then on the way from there to back to Darien Lake, you were in the back with Robert looking at your phones and laughing. Why?
Because apparently there was some guy running around Amherst State Park naked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's not just running around. Like, you learned of this because your friend Alex was nearly interviewed by a TV station to talk about the naked guy at Amherst State Park, which is it's 5 minutes from our house, like walking, maybe 10 minutes, whatever.
Right.
But you guys hang out there quite a bit.
Yeah.
Because it's a nice open space, and that's what state parks are for.
Right.
Like, you can just go there, and it's a pretty cool setting. So what do you know about the Alex part of the story? And then I'm gonna go with what I can find from the internet here.
So I just know that me and Robert were walking, and we went to go find Alex, who was coming back from the park, and we met.
This is yesterday?
Yeah.
Okay.
And we met at a intersection, and he was telling us that he almost got interviewed but didn't want to for about this naked guy running through the park. And me and Robert both thought that that was like a total lie because
So
it
he was
just
just making it up?
just doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't.
And then it.
It's totally true.
Yeah.
It really happened.
Yeah.
Why would they want to talk to Alex? What does Alex have to do with any of this?
I don't know.
All right. Alex is... So, Zach, you're a big dude for a 13-year-old. Alex is
Right.
a year older than... 2 years older than you?
2.
And 4 times your size or something?
Right.
Just a massive dude. Just this massive monster of a kid. All right. So, here's the story. This is from the Channel 7 website. This might be what you were reading last night.
Yeah.
Amherst police say they are investigating reports of a naked man who has been spotted in Amherst State Park. This story is from yesterday afternoon. This makes sense. This all fits. It's right around the time that Alex was in contact with you. Police say patrols are attempting to locate the offender and investigate the reported incidents, plural. India Oaks says she and her friends have encountered the man more than once. We were just dancing around listening to music, singing. That's something. I would report that, too. I don't know. There are people dancing around singing at the park. And me and my friend just kind of yelped and was like, oh, my God, Oaks told 7 News. When asked for her reaction to these incidents, she said, I felt sick to my stomach. It's really horrifying that I can't even just feel at peace in the park without somebody lurking on you like that. Oaks described 2 different encounters in her conversation with 7 News. You can listen to that full conversation and see the video her friend recorded of the man directly below. I'm in. All right, let's check this out. Yeah. We got direct recording. Of course, there's going to be a commercial here. It's 30 seconds long. I'll just keep reading the story until we get a chance. Park visitors had mixed reactions when 7 News reporter Mackay Becker, M-A-K-I Becker, spoke with them about the incidents. Perry Hill said it seems like a sign that the person probably needs help. They probably need to get into a better situation and not expose themselves to people. Another visitor, Bev, offered practical advice. It could happen any place, and you can't let that ruin your life. Enjoy your life, but be careful and vigilant. All right, I'm going to try potting this thing up. We have audio of...
with this person in the woods, where you
I
were,
saw the
what
song.
you were doing, and then what you saw.
So the first night I went to have a picnic with my 2 friends. We probably got there around maybe like 6, 7 o'clock. And we had been there for about 4 hours. And we didn't really see anything at first until I was walking back up to my car. And it was already like 11 o'clock at this time. And I got in my car and I turned my headlights on, and this completely naked man just ran in front of my car as soon as I turned my headlights on. All he had on was running shoes. And before we got up to the car, we did see some guy kind of following us, but we assumed he was just another dude just walking around. And it was really foggy, so we couldn't really tell. So that was pretty jarring, but I didn't want to think much of it. But the second time was recently, what day was that? It was, I think 2 days ago, 3 days ago.
I'm just going to pause for a second. I'm not saying this is okay. I'm not saying it's cool. I'm not saying it's even that funny the first time it happens.
Right.
But this woman goes and hangs out at a park in the dark until 11 o'clock at night.
Right.
And then for a second time, it's like, there he is again.
Yeah.
I'm not saying, I don't know what I'm saying. But twice, it's a lot.
Yeah.
I went to the park with my same friend, and we had just set up our blanket under the tree at Amherst State Park, right by the tree line, in between the golf course and the field. And we set up our...
There's a golf course?
I guess so.
Where's there a golf course? I don't know of a golf course at Amherst State. Okay.
Our speaker, we were just dancing around, listening to music, singing, and my friend just kind of yelped and was like, oh, my God. And we look over at the tree line, and in a clearing in the bushes is this naked man just standing, kind of spreading his legs at us. And we freaked out. We yelled, like, leave us alone. And then he started running, and that's when my friend got that video of him running. And we called the cops, and they went looking for him, can't find him. It seems like he's carrying a bag of clothes because he knows when he gets caught. I think he's putting his clothes back on so he just blends in with everybody else.
That's the move.
But he's been up to
That's
this
how I
for
would do
weeks,
it.
honestly.
Yeah.
And police told you they've heard other complaints about this.
Yeah, so they had told me that he's done this to a mother and her child, even when they were looking for him when we called.
It's starting to almost sound like they're doing it to him. Like, you're there, but this guy's just trying to hang out naked in the woods. You're going and having late night picnics, blasting music and partying, and then he can't resist becoming a part of the party. I'm not saying, I'm not defending him.
They were stopped by a family while they were searching in the forest, saying that a family had also just been flashed by this guy.
See, flash to me would imply, like, back in the day when I was your age, flashing involved a trench coat. You have to have a trench coat, and you're like, look, like that's flashing. Running around, there's just a guy who likes running around naked in the woods, and you keep going to the woods. I don't know.
Your reaction to all this.
I felt sick to my stomach. It's really horrifying that I can't even just feel at peace in the park without somebody lurking on you like that. It's also just concerning that he's been up to this for weeks and seemingly is so elusive that he just can't be caught.
How elusive is he if you found him twice in 3 days? That's not very elusive.
Right.
Let's bring a cop with you to the party. Have your little picnic, dance around with a cop. Then when you see the naked guy, we fire at will or whatever you do to stun him, hit him with a blow dart, whatever it is, taser, tranquilize.
Right.
Even though he's had so many run-ins with people, and it's like he wants to get caught, but he's so elusive.
Does
What's
it make
elusive
you feel
about
uneasy being in the park?
Not enough to not keep going.
I try to have a lot of time spent in nature, but now I don't even know if I want to go back there because I don't know if he could be watching me. He could have been watching us for hours.
Right.
And we had no clue.
You posted this online, and it seemed to get a lot of response, and maybe some other people have had similar experiences.
Yeah, I've seen quite a few people mention. I've also seen a lot of posts on Facebook on the Amherst scanner that there's been multiple complaints about this guy over the past few weeks, and it's just really concerning that, especially that there's children involved. I mean, he's obviously not discriminating with who he's exposing himself to, and the park's supposed to be a safe place for everybody, and right now it's not safe for anyone.
Is there any part of you that thinks we should go naked guy hunting?
Yeah, kind of. It would be fun.
I mean, I'm hearing I've got some really good flashlights.
Right.
I'm hearing how elusive he is.
Yeah.
None of the people that we would go with, well, I guess you're pretty fast. I'm not fast. I don't think we're going to catch him.
No, but we could at least go.
We could maybe get an interview.
Yeah.
Like that would be nice.
Yeah.
Unless we're then aiding and abetting an Amherst nudist. But I don't know. It doesn't sound like he's actually done anything except be super weird.
Right.
So I'm not sure what to do with this. All right, we're done. That's all. That's all I wanted. Thanks, Zach.
All right.
All right, we'll talk soon. Should we go tonight?
Yeah.
We might have to do this. All right. Thank you. All right, that's Zach. I'm Brad. It's Writer Radio. He's a writer also, so he's allowed to be a part of it. Scott Wilson is not a writer. He's a broadcaster, and he's my friend, and he will join me in just a moment after we play another country song or two. But I haven't picked one out yet, so just give me a second. Had to talk about this. If you want to make a couple of teenagers laugh, tell a story about some naked guy in the woods at the park that they always go to. Like, it's not okay. I'm not saying it's cool, but it's not anything. Like, nothing is. It's just a weirdo. Just a weirdo. I got room in my life for weirdos. It's entertaining to me. That's entertaining. Might we go hunting? Yeah, we might do that. All right. I've been telling you how I like things that are country adjacent, although I'm not a country music fan. What can I use from my favorite band that would sound country adjacent? This one's kind of weird, and I haven't heard it in a while. Scent of a Mule. Why not? This portion of Writer Radio has been deleted for the podcast version. If you want to hear everything that happens, listen live weekdays 10 to noon at writerradio.com. Writer Radio episode 140 continues. Scott Wilson joins us twice a week, once on Mondays, once on Fridays. We've got him right now. Scott sent along an audio clip, though, that I want to share with you, if you don't mind. So we're talking about Long John Silver's and being out of tartar sauce and what that means. And I've been to KFC when they run out of chicken. That happened twice at the Bailey Avenue location, Bailey near UB South. Twice went in there and they were out of chicken. That was weird. People were losing their minds. I didn't care that much. I just moved on. But there were some irate people. How you be out of chicken? You got chicken right in your name. How can you be out of chicken? I get it. It happened at Popeyes in Rochester like 16 years ago and went viral, and Scott reminded me. So we're going to do that, and then we'll talk to Scott.
Fast food chain Popeyes became a victim of its own advertising today. So many customers lined up for a big special. Some locations, including one in Penfield and the city, ran out of chicken. Tonight, customers were clucking their disapproval. Customers at the drive-thru heard this recorded message.
Sorry for the inconvenience, but we are all out of chicken and we are closed for the rest of the day. Thank you and have a blessed day.
One woman yelled back at the machine.
People have kids that they trying to feed for the special, and you mean to tell me that we can't feed our kids? Because y'all didn't order enough chicken. Y'all knew y'all was having this special almost 2 months ago, and that's wrong.
But no one was listening. The Popeyes on Lake Avenue was closed by dinner time.
Are you kidding me?
I think that's bad because I'm sure hungry.
No chicken.
No chicken? They just out of chicken.
I said I'm calling customer service now to see where there's another Popeyes at.
They always run out of food, sides, whether if it's mashed potatoes and gravy, coleslaw, they always run out of something.
It's very disappointing. I wanted some chicken today.
Other locations ran out of chicken too. The $4.99 special too good to pass up.
I just left Penfield Popeyes. They were out of chicken there, so I ran to the city to this one, and they're out too. This is ridiculous.
They should have had a stockpile of chicken for this day.
They should have had a tractor trailer out back with extra chicken on ice, you know?
Maybe it was the economy that caused the rush on chicken.
At that price in this day and age, I mean, that is a good deal.
Isn't that sad? In this economy, people are trying to spend money and they don't want it.
I was trying to feed my family tonight. Can't get that bucket in now.
Customers felt duped.
I'm never coming back now. I'm serious. I'm done.
But they got to get their stuff together. They put their advertisements on and then they don't show up for it.
I'm more disappointed than angry. We've been looking forward to this day.
They advertising on national TV. How you gonna run out of chicken? That's all I have to say.
That was my favorite, was the woman there who you heard the car door slam. That's because she had the door open so that she could talk to the recording that explained that they were closed for the rest of the day. And then she opened her door to talk because she probably doesn't know how to work the window or the window doesn't go down. So she had her door open and she's just yelling at the machine and nobody's answering. She's getting mad at that. That is a great story. Glad to throw back to 16 years ago. Hi, Scott Wilson. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah. I love that last part too, where she's she says, "I got nothing else to say." She closes the door, and then you can clearly hear that she has more to say.
Yeah, she's talking to nobody.
Yelling inside the car.
Yeah, but it was
still very, very upset about the chicken.
But it was no smarter to yell outside the car than inside the car, because the recording was, "Sorry, we're out of chicken. We're closed for the rest of the day. Nobody's here. Have a blessed day." And she's like, "What you mean?" Like, what? You're talking to a recording lady. With the door open. It was good.
At least one of the people was like, listen, they should just have a huge tractor trailer full of chicken on ice.
Yeah.
Because they know that this special is very popular.
Yeah.
At least he was presenting some type of solution.
Yeah.
Everyone else is very, very, very upset. And I got to say, I tuned in today.
Yeah.
And you're just hair on fire about Long John Silver's. And I've been laughing all day in my car because I've never known anybody before that ate there.
Yeah, it's good.
And I was thinking the only person I would ever have known in my entire life that would say, "You know what I'm going to do today? I'm going to have Long John Silver's," is you.
Yeah.
It's you. If somebody had made me put money on the 300 million people in this nation, who would you bet would drive out of their way?
Way
to
out
go
of their
to
way.
Long John Silver's. Brad's the only. I've seen the man eat seafood buffet.
Yeah.
Brad's the only one I would know.
Yeah. Yeah, it was me.
Oh my
It was me.
goodness.
Yeah, none of it didn't work. Nothing worked. Nothing that I tried to do worked. Once we were inside Darien Lake, everything was fine. But the whole plan of we're gonna hit, swing through Batavia real quick on the way to Darien, that was dumb. That cost us an hour. And then the lack of tartar sauce. I know that doesn't seem like a big deal, but look, I just had this vision.
You're having fish.
Right, exactly. It's not. This isn't something I do all the time. I remember liking they were everywhere when I was a kid. And I liked it, and I thought hush puppies were a delicacy. Like, it was something I'd never experienced anywhere else before. I've since had them at, like, real seafood places, and they're better than the Long John Silver's version. But I don't know, man. They're delicious. That said, I want something to dip them in. I couldn't even get anybody's attention to get myself a sauce because they keep all the sauces behind the place, and then the guy with the dump right to the kitchen. Like, I'm not going to go back anytime soon. I was looking at the one-star reviews. The one-star reviews for this Long John Silver's, and I can see where they're coming from. Ordered 4 chicken nuggets and the famous. Well, that's a KFC, so we'll skip that one. Went there at 8:45 p.m. on April 3rd in Batavia and was told they couldn't make anything because they were cleaning the fryers. Which, yes, I love that they were cleaning, but it was over an hour before close. Online says closes at 10 p.m. I was in the area, which I normally am not. It's an hour away from my home. I tried to leave my 1-star on the website and wasn't able to. The shrimp were so dry, they were like rocks. And when I finally broke one open, it crumbled from being so dry. And the french fries were soggy and all mushed together. Absolutely horrible. Food, 1 out of 5. Service, 3 out of 5. Recommended dishes, shrimp, breast, hush puppies, 6. And then there's a bunch more like that, but we don't need to do them all. How are you?
I mean, you're just asking for it there. I'm good. I'm good. I heard you and your son talking there, and I just, what has happened to our country where a guy at around 11 o'clock at night can't whip out his dong in a park? I mean, do we not live in America still? I'm sorry. I thought this was America. Like, it's like, there's supposed to be, for broadcasting, anything after 10 or 11 p.m. until like 5 a.m. There's like, they call it like a safe harbor period where the normal rules of broadcasting are relaxed a little bit. Yeah. That's why like Loveline and shows like that were all on late at night. I feel like that that's kind of it for the park. Like, listen, if you're here after 11 o'clock,
it gets a little wild.
You could see a guy's butt. Like, this is what's going on. He's naked. He could just be jogging.
He could. I don't know that you're supposed to do that either, but I'm trying to think of what it reminds me of where it happened twice. Like, in the span of a few days, the same people saw the same guy at about the same time in the same place. And do you remember the SNL sketch where it was like, smell this milk? And they smell like, oh, it smells so bad. Here, smell. Oh, and then taste it. Oh, it's terrible. Oh, and they just kept passing it around and they kept doing that. So it kind of reminded me of that, where she's like, it was the worst thing that's ever happened to me. And then 3 days later, when I returned to the exact same place at the exact same time and behaved in the exact same way, the exact same thing happened, and this is unacceptable. I don't feel safe. And it's like, I don't know. Like, I'm not saying it's fine that this dude's doing this, but it is funny. And the video that exists, it's like a Bigfoot video because, well, it's from far away. It's from far away. The guy's in the woods, and you can see him. He moves forward like 3 trees, and then they rewind it and back. So it's just the whole time they're doing that news story. It's just a video of this guy who, again, it's dark. He's in the woods. I believe them that he's naked, but you can't tell. And it's just like a big, like, they're tracking Bigfoot. And it's forward and then backward and then forward and then backward. It's the same exact thing over and over for like a 3.5-minute story about nudity in Amherst State Park, which is where my kid hangs out a lot. So I asked him immediately. I'm like, do you think it was any of your friends? And he said he does not. And then we were trying to guess, like, of all the people on our street, who would be the most likely to just be naked in the woods half a mile from here at 11 o'clock at night. We came up with a couple candidates. Looking at the body type on the Bigfoot footage that I saw, I don't think it's any of my friends. But I'm not opposed to tonight at 11 o'clock or so taking a ride over, seeing what's going on in Amherst State Park with a bunch of flashlights.
Well, the park people now have an interesting scenario, because this is the type of thing that can turn into, I mean, this guy could turn into like a cult hero.
Right.
Like, there are incidents like this, like in 10 years, this is how the Bisons have a third jersey, that they're the Bison Streak or the Buffalo Streakers.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
it happened at a Bills game. There's a big one at a Bills game. Remember that?
Right. Like, this is the type of thing where, now that it's out and available, this guy could never go back, never do this again, but still have like they could
legendary
have
status.
A gathering every year at this time and honor the streaker.
I feel like this is how Burning Man started.
Maybe.
Right?
Maybe. It could be Amherst Naked Man.
Right.
It's the park could embrace it and make light of it, but then you're also asking probably for more people to do it.
Right. Yeah, we don't want naked men. One naked guy.
And then you have to
with.
embrace that, and then you end up, with news stories about how there's a furry convention in the park.
Yeah, now you're Fire Island.
Right.
We don't need
or
that.
you could really try and clamp down on it, which then gets people like, oh, come on, don't take away the one thing the park is known for. Like, this is what the park could be known for. You know what I mean? Like, this is it. This could be it. This could be their ticket to fame.
I'm in. 19 hours ago. Be wary of Amherst State Park. It looks like my prior post was removed. Spoke to the news recently. A lot of comments are implying that the original poster is wrong to complain about this. It's not unreasonable to call out antisocial behavior at a public park, antisocial or aggressive activities, throwing garbage in the park, broken beer bottles, plastic bottles, wrappers, etc., breaking park rules about campfires, fishing regulations, etc., needs to be called out and addressed. We will lose all the public spaces otherwise. Headline: Woman describes encounter with naked man in Amherst State Park. Article has more details. Someone needs to just go as bait whilst here we go. This is what we might do. Someone needs to go just as bait while another waits with a paintball gun and just load his crotch with paintballs.
Okay. But is the guy just kind of naked in the park and then other people are seeing him?
Seems
or is
like
he
it.
just like going up to people being like, hey, check out my Nikes and balls?
Yeah, it seems like it's a little bit of both. I mean, this video of him, the back and forth video that I saw of him just taking a few steps in the woods. I'm going to watch it again. Here's an overhead view of the park. I still see no golf course. I don't know what this lady's talking about.
This is the Amherst State Park Zapruder film.
Yeah, sort of. I'm watching the wrong video. I'm watching a woman rehab her knee right now. So this is not the right video. TV websites they've got to be better. It's very difficult to watch a news story on a TV website. It always just turns into a different story or an anchor talking about something that's not relevant. And then then commercials and then Walter Goggins goggles. I see a lot of Walton Goggins goggles. I see a lot of those lately. Go ahead, sorry.
Well, I was going to say, you touched on it earlier this week, but the WNBA is in a very similar situation with the dildo tossing.
Yes, it's become a thing.
It's an epidemic. Like, it happened again last night. They're up to 4. It's becoming a real thing, and they don't really know how to deal with it. And obviously, you don't want people to just start throwing things on the court. But on the other hand, it is funny.
Right. Yeah, that's the part that hurts.
And let me be clear. I am fine with this happening at an NBA game. Throwing a dildo on an NBA court with guys is just as funny. This is not a WNBA thing.
The Brady thing was
on the court thing.
We were talking about the streaker. The Brady dildo incident at the stadium was fantastic. Those guys got on the news too.
Right, and ESPN's got the second story on ESPN this morning was basically an expose that they have done to figure out the people behind the dildo tossing.
Okay.
And it was like basically a group of guys who have a meme coin who they're trying to get, they're trying to get it going. They were joking around, and then we're basically like, we're going to do this. It's going to draw attention to our meme coin. And then eventually the meme coin is going to go off so much we will buy the WNBA.
Oh, that's a good idea.
So
to destroy it?
I don't know. I don't know what the end purpose was. I think that was more of a joke. Now, the thing is that the person that they interviewed on, stayed anonymous, said that they were only behind 2 of them. Now it's spreading to other people,
right.
And this thing that they were basically just doing has now grown to double its size and is becoming a real thing. And, they've got to, the WNBA's got to figure it out. I mean, they've had games recently where they are not allowing people to carry anything in, no bags.
Well, that's the move. I think that's the move. Here's
right, except for the thing that they're trying to keep out can easily be stored other places.
Yeah, that's true.
You wouldn't know it.
Yeah, that's a good point. Now we got dirty. Yeah, that's gross. All right, here's why I think this can't get too out of hand. Because anyone interested in throwing something on the court at a WNBA game to like make fun of the WNBA or whatever has to go pay for a ticket and then sit through a WNBA game to do it. So it's not like this is just something that's happening at state parks where you just walk in for free, you throw what you want and you leave. Like you have to pay admission and sit through a game if you want to make fun of the thing or whatever you're trying to do. So I think that will slow it down. It's not going to be an epidemic. I don't think it could. I've got the whole story. A self-described cryptocurrency enthusiast told ESPN he's part of a group that orchestrated recent sex toy stunts that have disrupted at least 3 WNBA games in the past 10 days. We're now up to 4. The man who spoke on the condition of anonymity over video conference said the stunts were meant to market a crypto coin that his online community created. The WNBA and all its controversy, he said, made the league a logical target. It was more or less like an opportunistic approach to, what is already trending. What is there already controversy, and how do we intercept some of that attention? The man who uses Lieutenant Daldo Rain as his username on Axonod, he said to the Brad Pitt character in Inglourious Bastards, kept his camera off and refused to give his name or age during the call with ESPN. The group, he said, wants to reclaim the creative and community aspects of the crypto world. We wanted to really make memes funny again, he said. WNBA spokesperson declined to answer ESPN's questions about the group that claimed responsibility or adjustments to arena security. I'm not going to read the whole thing. So, all right, so there's that. In looking for that story, the top story at ESPN.com right now is Richardson dislocates pinky on big sack, exits.
That's about what happened.
Who's Richardson? Anthony Richardson. Okay.
Anthony Richardson.
Richardson he's got a pinky on his big sack.
Well,
no, they mean his pinky on his hand, and the sack is a football play. Now I get it. It makes more sense that way.
He showed why he's bad, and there was an unblocked guy from, I don't know what you would even, from the front side. I mean, it's not the blind side; it should be the seen side. And no one blocked him, and he had 2 wide open guys that he could have gotten it out too quick, and he just didn't. And just got crushed in the first quarter of the first preseason game and had his pinky go the wrong way. And there was a bunch of that last night. Actually,
there was a leg that went the wrong way. That was gross.
Yes.
Who was that?
Guy that we've seen from Western Michigan. That was Bilal Kone. The defensive back.
That was gross.
That was gross.
That was as gross as I've seen. That was real bad. That was Tim Crumry bad. That was Joe Theismann bad. It was bad.
Yeah, that was real bad. You hate to see it. I mean, he's a rookie and getting a shot, and you hate to see stuff like that happen to anybody. But I mean, as far as Anthony Richardson, you mentioned him. That's everything about what happened to him was his own fault.
Well, every side is your blind side when you can't see. You know, I mean, that shouldn't have been the blind side. It's coming right at him, but he's looking to the left and just gets annihilated, like right into his chest, thus crippling his pinky on his big sack or whatever they called it. But yeah, that stinks. I should go on ESPN.com more. There's so much interesting stuff here. Paul Skeens, you know the Paul Skeens story from yesterday?
I do.
He allowed a career worst 7 hits and still shut out the Reds.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Oh my God! Career worst 7 hits.
My kids have banned me from using the Pirates on MLB 25, the show. We play on there all the time. We'll just play exhibition games, and Paul Skeens is not fair.
Yeah,
he's not fair. So he can throw 100 for 120 pitches.
That's crazy. It was crazy. I saw him in the College World Series last year. We had like a baseball party after a baseball tournament or something, and the guy whose house we were at, the family whose house we were at, had an outdoor TV. I was like, oh, we'll just put on some baseball, and then we all learned about Paul Skeens together, and it's kind of, we were all like in the club because we were a little bit ahead of the draft and a little, so I was like, oh yeah, well that guy's going number 1. Look at this dude. He's got a stupid mustache. He's awesome. So I'm in on him, but I did not know that he a career high 7 hits is pretty good in a victory, nonetheless.
I'll throw one other preseason note in there.
Right.
The Bengals did something interesting for the first time in a long time, and that is they played Joe Burrow and played their starters. And I think that's especially if you watched Quarterback, the series on Netflix, which covered last year's action, they are notoriously bad starters to the season.
Yeah.
And then by the time they get themselves together, it was too late. And they needed 3 other things to happen in order to make the playoffs, and obviously that didn't happen. So they are trying to do something different this year, which is, hey, why don't we actually play in the preseason game with some of our starters so that the first game action they see isn't week 1. And Joe Burrow looked good last night. Threw a couple of touchdown passes. On the flip side of that, Trey Hendrickson made more money last night because that defense for Cincinnati was terrible. I mean, I know the Eagles are good, but good Lord, they were terrible. And they weren't all that good last year, and taking the league's leader in sacks off that defense probably isn't going to help them too much either.
Yeah.
So while I think, just thinking about the overall landscape of the NFL, I know the Bills can beat the Chiefs. I've seen it half of the time. It's just the half of the time that has happened has been in the regular season in great games instead of the great games in the postseason. And I don't think the Bills can beat Burrow at his best and those wide receivers. If the problem is the Bills' defense, which you've been talking about all week, you've thrown the Warren Sharp stats out there, and then Bob Gaughan's been talking about it now for almost 2 weeks. Every time I've seen the Bills play Joe Burrow, it's looked real bad.
Yeah.
And they're really, to me, the one that I think of if they get matched up in the postseason, that's who I don't want to face. I'm fine with facing the Chiefs. That is what it is. I know that they're competitive, and I know that it's frustrating to see what's happened in the postseason. But every time they've lost, they've been right there. So it's not like they're getting blown out. As opposed to Bengals, and that offense has ripped the defense apart. And I know that, the DeMar Hamlin game happened, and we never got to see what was going to happen, but they were going to lose that game by a lot.
I think the only really bad playoff game that has happened in the Josh Allen era has been Bills-Bengals right after that, right? I mean, that was they got beat. It's the only time they've been like, we don't have a play or two to complain about, or a call, or what. It's not 13 seconds. It's not this should have been a holding penalty, 4th and 1. It's not anything like that. Right. It's just nope, they got smushed by the Bengals, and that's the only one really in Josh's career. So I think a part of it, too, is I think the Bills spend so much time thinking about getting over the hump of the Chiefs that you plop the Chiefs in front of them in week 1 or week 8 or the first week of the postseason or the AFC Championship game, and they woke up ready. They've been thinking about beating the Chiefs for 5 years. So that's like primary goal is be better than the Chiefs. If you wind up in a game against the Bengals, I'm not saying it's a letdown, but it's not the thing that you've been conditioning yourself to do for the duration of your career if you're Josh Allen and the Bills. It's like that we're here to beat the Chiefs. Oh, we're playing the Bengals today? All right, well, then let's beat the Bengals. But it's not the same thing. And I think that's a factor, too. I don't necessarily just think, oh, Joe Burrow's got it over the Bills. I just think the Bills are so focused on the Chiefs that a Bengals game almost doesn't count. It does, but it almost doesn't. A Ravens game almost doesn't count. It does, but it doesn't. The Chiefs games are the ones that matter, I think, to Bills fans and probably to the Bills. And they need to be better about that and more professional and not look past, a really highly talented offensive team in the Bengals. But I do think that's a part of it.
And if you watch that quarterback series on Netflix and they follow Burrow, you will realize that some of the frustrations that Bills fans have over, Josh has been nearly perfect in almost every playoff game that he's been in, and the defense has let him down in those big games. Burrow had the entire that was the entire season last year. Burrow was amazing, and they keep showing him throwing touchdown after touchdown after touchdown and dominating, and then they'll show the final score and you find out, oh, that's right, they lost that game 42-38.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh my God, last year had to have been really frustrating for Bengals fans, but that offense is still there. The defense did not look like it improved at all, but the offense is still there, and they're trying to get things cranked up earlier in the preseason.
Did you watch Hard Knocks?
I did watch Hard Knocks. I did.
What'd you think?
Yes. It's hard not to like Josh.
I know.
It really is. When you see somebody like Mahomes who wins all the time, but his wife sucks, his brother's annoying, and is like up on charges. His dad's a drunk driver like 8 times over and appears to be a wild a-hole. It's really hard to grasp onto that, even though Mahomes himself has never really done anything wrong. That's like at a certain point, everyone around you sucks. So I have a hard time thinking that you don't also suck. Josh is the opposite of that. He comes off very much like a dude, just one of the guys that also happens to be very good at this one thing, and it's football. And it's for the Bills, which is great. I really enjoyed that. I don't know if you caught it. He went around at the start of one of the practices, shaking all the offensive linemen's hands, saying, "Doctor." I love that he knows the reference to that.
Mm-hmm.
I know, like, if I'm not wrong, that's from Spies Like Us.
I've got it as Chevy Chase, and I was thinking
Chevy Chase
Fletch.
and Aykroyd.
I've got it as Chevy Chase, and I'm picturing Fletch, but it doesn't fit into Fletch, so I think Spies Like Us is probably correct.
And I love that movie. It's a ridiculous movie, but it's great. It's hilarious, and I love that he also knows that and knows that reference, if that's what he was doing, which I'd probably say I'm 90% sure he was.
100%.
The team seems very locked in. If I was Deion Dawkins, I'd get a tighter fitting helmet for my kids.
I would not do that stuff. When it was just him driving around by himself, I felt kind of okay, even with the kids in the car. But then at the end, when they were showing 4 of them just going in circles, and there was somebody dropping in on a parachute. Like, I don't understand what I was even looking at.
Yes, there was a lot.
Like,
where was that going on?
Where was the parachute guy going to land? What was that?
I don't know if that was. I don't know.
Maybe it wasn't a person.
I don't know. I don't know if that was a person.
Maybe it wasn't a person.
Maybe it was just like a camera or something. I don't know.
But it was crazy looking.
Yeah, the drifting is a little wild, but I'm old. I don't get it. So if that's what it takes for him to unwind a little bit, yeah. I mean, the whole thing. I've seen that there's been some criticism that it was a little soft. And it's like, well, geez, the reigning MVP and what has turned out to be one of the more likable, really successful teams of the last, I don't know, half decade here.
Yeah.
Do you think the NFL is going to come out there and try to be hard on the team that they are putting all over? I mean, what do you expect? This is a rare look for a Hard Knocks on a team that is already good. Like normally these are all teams that are trying to crawl their way back into relevancy or just kind of on the edge of relevancy.
Yeah, or Aaron Rodgers just arrived, or or you're the Browns, or right, like
right, or you're the Browns, or we're gonna give it to the Cowboys because they're the Cowboys, but they like the story of the Cowboys is always they think they're going to be great because they think that they're entitled to be great, and they're never great. They suck. It's a rare look for this franchise at a team that is already at the top. They have the quarterback. They have pieces on defense. They have the offensive line. They've brought in wide receivers. So it's like, I don't know, things are going pretty well over there right now. So yeah, it's not going to be as harsh as the Bears, where they were terrible, and it's easy to do the show when they're terrible and you know it.
Yep.
And they have a rookie quarterback, and there's all those extra questions that they have, and they made all kinds of splashy free agent signings last year at wide receiver, and I don't know. I just think that the expectation is from non-Bills fans has been a little bit unrealistic, at least in the media that I've seen.
Yeah.
Because what are you going to show? I mean, I don't know.
They'll get to it.
Things are going to get interesting.
Yeah, if something happens,
there's going to be injuries. There's going to be something's going to go down for sure. They'll trade for Micah Parsons and make it worth your while. But as far as the first episode goes, it was. I watched the first episode, had a friend in town, football fan, doesn't really, clocks in during the season type of fan. Nothing crazy, but we'll watch football. Watched it, and afterwards was like, that was awesome, and I will be watching the rest of this.
Yeah.
Because that looked cool and those guys look fun.
Well, the first thing you said when I asked if you saw this is, it's very difficult not to like Josh. I'm just picturing just any fan anywhere. Like, who doesn't like him? I get that people still think he's overrated or whatever because it's still based on what they thought when the draft was happening. But how would it even be possible to watch that show and not think, I think I like this guy? Like, any other player in the league, any quarterback in the league, I feel like there's some level. Like, if that's Joe Burrow, you're going to come off with, that guy's arrogant, that guy's this, that, Mahomes is annoying and he's around these people. Anyone, Prescott is making too much money for what he is and he thinks he's a big deal, but he's not as big a deal. Like, there's something with this. It's just like, who wouldn't sign up to have that guy as your guy? And we get to keep him? Like, it's just so crazy to me after years of nothingness with this franchise that they've got this guy that is just universally appealing in addition to the massive mounds of talent that come oozing out of him every time he's on the field. He's just cool and likable. And it's like, man, we really got lucky here in Western New York to land this guy and have him be as interested in being the hero as he is.
The other thing from the episode was, and I've seen a couple of people mention it online, but it stuck out to me right away as well, as Terry Pagula saying, well, if you've got people that you really trust, you don't have to sit there and micromanage.
Mm-hmm.
And it made me think of the other
hockey
franchise,
team,
the other situation, and makes me wonder what's been going on behind the scenes over there, and if some of that has been happening. And I don't know. It was just a very interesting thing to say I don't think he had. He did not say it in reference to anything else other than, listen, we got good architects and good construction guys.
Yeah, I don't build stadiums.
Have to stop by here. I don't do this. I don't have to stop by here every other day. I don't know. Maybe
it was weird. It was definitely
I'm reading
weird.
Into it, but
No, it definitely stood out as something like it caught your attention. It caught my attention. I was like, that was weird that he just said that. And just thinking about how horribly the hockey team has been run since he took over and how well the football team has been run. It's impossible if you know the backstory to not put more into that comment than maybe he even intended. Because I heard it the same way. It was bizarre, and it made me think about Kevin Adams. Like I probably shouldn't have been. He wasn't there to talk about Kevin Adams. He was talking about how they're making a cool stadium and they've got a cool quarterback, and that's all he was doing. But I heard it the same way that you did, so there's that. I thought you were going to say, here's my other observation, and this is like the third time I've talked about this show, but so what? If you're going to try to give out sundaes to people at an ice cream place, you have to go to the line of people because people already ate a sundae and they don't want nobody eats 2 sundaes at an ice cream place, and Trey White's trying to push his Trey Day sundae on people on top of a cookie. It looked delicious. I'm sure it was great, but he's trying to push it to people who had already eaten ice cream, and that's no way to operate. You can't give away ice cream to people who just ate ice cream. They've already had ice cream. And I think that ice cream is different than most foods. Like if I just had a bunch of pizza and then you showed up with a special pizza, I'd try your special pizza. But if I just ate ice cream and you show up want some ice cream, I don't want another sundae. I've never had 2 sundaes in my life, and I'm not going to start now, even if it's Trey White giving it to me. So I think that was just bad marketing.
I agree. He had to go to the back of the line.
Yeah.
You have to go to the back of the line where there's a group of people that they can all kind of share off of one to get that done.
While they're waiting in line, and then they could still place their order. Yeah, it would have worked out better.
I've got a couple of random notes written down here. I know we're running out of time, but
we're okay.
That I could probably rip through here.
Go ahead.
I'll get back to football in a second, but I don't know if you've noticed that there's a big thing right now that Dean Cain went on Fox News and said that he's going to be signing up for ICE. And my only thought about this is Dean Cain special needs? Because
what?
Like, does he not know? Like, has anyone told him he's not Superman?
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Time I see him talking anywhere, he's acting like he's Superman. And he was not Superman.
No.
Superman's not real. He's not Superman. Someone needs to tell Dean Cain, chill out, dude. Not only are you not Superman, you were not even Superman in a movie, dude.
That's
you were
true.
Superman on a cheesy TV show that wasn't even called Superman. You were in a Superman that they didn't even call Superman.
You're Clark.
Yes. He's highly annoying. And someone needs to really calm him down. He can join us. Like, this isn't a political thing. It's just his general attitude that bothers me. And I'm tired of seeing him being treated and talked about like
he's Superman.
Like he shouldn't be called former Superman. You know what I mean? Like, he was never it's not like he was Superman and then went into the Fortress of Solitude, gave up his powers, and decided to live the rest of his life as Dean Cain, the a-hole. He was never Superman. And people, especially on that one channel, talk to him as if he has the reverence
of Superman.
Of Superman.
Of actual Superman. Not even guy who played Superman, but Superman.
Right.
Yeah. And he didn't play Superman.
Oh, man.
He played.
Have you heard Superman's going to sign up for ICE? No.
That would be awesome. If we could get Superman.
That would be something.
Yeah.
That would be something.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you know what it is? It's Dean.
Right.
It's this guy named Dean.
Dean, who got cut by the Bills. Didn't make the Bills. He hurt his right knee during training camp, prevented him from playing in the preseason, underwent surgery in July, placed on injured reserve for the season, and that ended his football career prematurely, and then he became Clark. But he's a safety who didn't make the Bills after signing with them as a free agent in 1988, and he's acting like he's Superman, and I agree.
I just every time I see him, I just think this dude must suck. Like, this guy's this guy must be very annoying. He must, like, I can picture him demanding that people treat him like he was Superman. I don't know. It just really has bothered me.
Do you know that he's been in 16 Christmas films?
Well, I mean, we've probably seen 4 or 5 on the road alone.
I'm trying to think if we had. I don't.
I mean, those are all Hallmark movies, probably.
Yeah, I would think.
Or, I mean, he's the only other thing he's been in has been Hallmark movies or Lifetime movies where he's been the creepy stalker guy.
Well, he's also been in several faith-based films. I don't know if he's tied in with.
God's Not Dead, right?
With Kirk Cameron. Yes, God's Not Dead. Good call.
Right.
Plays an arrogant businessman, and then in 2016 he played a guest role on Lady Dynamite on Netflix as Graham, the ex-fiance of Maria Bamford.
Who's the other guy like him that was like in an action movie that played Hercules?
Sorbo?
Who's Sorbo?
Sorbo's the same way. Sorbo thinks he's Hercules. That's totally right.
Yes. Sorbo, for some reason, no one has told Sorbo that he's not Hercules, that he is not former Hercules. He's just Kevin. He's just Kevin.
He is just Kevin.
He's also been in God's Not Dead.
Really? We should watch God's Not Dead.
They are all swimming in the same sea of.
How do you know the movie God's Not Dead?
Because I keep seeing Dean Cain and Kevin Sorbo.
Yeah.
I keep seeing these guys, and this stuff just keeps. I might have to restart. Like, I would like to reset my algorithm. Because somehow
it just keeps Sorboing you up.
My youngest is into like superhero movies and stuff. Maybe that's how.
Okay.
And we're on the same Wi-Fi. Maybe he's in the other room searching up like Superman clips or something, and then it somehow gets onto my phone, and now I'm seeing Dean Cain volunteer for ICE. Like, dude, no one wants a 60-year-old former Superman. You suck. All right.
I just don't know how you know about God's Not Dead. Like, by title, it's a 2014 American Christian drama film directed by somebody you never heard of, Harold Kronk, starring Kevin Sorbo, Shane Harper, David A.R. White, and Dean Cain. Here's the premise.
I celebrate the whole Kronk.
Whole Kronk catalog. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
It was written from a story they co-wrote. It inspired the book God's Not Dead, Evidence for God in an Age of Uncertainty. The film follows a Christian college student whose faith is challenged by an atheist philosophy professor, Sorbo, who declares God a pre-scientific fiction. The film was produced by Pure Flix Entertainment in association with a bunch of other places. God's Not Dead was a commercial success, grossing over $62 million on a $2 million budget. It was, however, heavily panned by mainstream critics, criticized its screenplay, directing, performances, mean-spirited tone, characters, and use of straw man arguments and common stereotypes of atheists instead of any actual debate. It spawned a film series of the same name consisting of 4 sequels. All right, that's why you've heard of it. There's 5 of them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, it's the Christian Spider-Man right now. Like, it's,
Superman.
that's... Well, or Superman, yeah.
Well, businessman. He plays atheist businessman and Mina's older brother and Amy's boyfriend. Does Dean Cain. He plays Mark. Dean Cain plays Mark, at least in the original. I don't know what happens in the sequels, but sounds riveting.
Right. And
hour and 13 minutes of that. Whoa.
I think a little bit of this also bled into, it's not as bad, but a little bit of this bled into Mel Gibson when he did Passion of the Christ. He was never the same after that.
Right.
He was like, that's right. I told you about Jesus.
Well, he also was William Wallace. I think the William Wallace thing might have stuck with him, keeping in the same lines. And then we jump to Jesus. So you're William Wallace and you're Jesus, or you're telling people, informing people.
Producing Jesus.
The ego thing. Yeah, there's something to this. There's definitely okay.
It's the Dean Cain effect.
Yes, the Dean Cain effect. Okay, you said you had a couple notes. That was one.
I have a couple of quick things. Football. I told you that I got the Phil Steele College Football Bible. It's in my car.
Great.
It's with me every day, almost everywhere I go. It's if I'm at home, it's with me. If I'm in the car, it's with me. A couple of quick things that have picked up perusing that maybe some in your audience dabble in things like sports betting.
Yep.
or stuff like that may be interested in learning if they were going to place a couple of over-under bets before the season, stuff like that, that you might not know unless you're actually reading through a book like this that I've picked up. One, Missouri's first 6 games are all at home, and they don't have a road game till October 18th.
Really?
So, I mean, that bodes well for the Tigers. They're going to be at home a lot to start the season. They don't have to go anywhere. The second, the University of Miami, the Hurricanes, they don't have to play a game outside of the state of Florida until November.
Wow.
Like, these are the types of schedules that people always would get on Syracuse, like, oh, they don't play a game until January. They're always just playing people in the dome, and they would never
and then
leave
go
the
to
state of New
MSG.
York.
Yeah.
Right. And there are 2 Power 5 teams, or Power 4 teams, that have those types of schedules this year. We're talking about half of the season in a row to start the year, where Miami's only road trip in that sequence even is to Florida State. Now, that's a rivalry game, but still, there's still a lot of home games in there as well.
Yeah, you can ride your bike there.
Right. I mean, those are 2 teams that, if you were looking early on in the season and you were looking at that, you may not realize what their schedule shapes up like. Now, Missouri does have one of those later home games is a home game against Georgia or Alabama. So, eventually Missouri has a home game, but it's also against a real team. So there's that. But
Missouri has 4 road games.
Yeah.
Is this normal? I mean,
no.
I'm pumped that UB has 5 road games this year instead of 6. That's a nice little edge. But you're right. So they start with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 home games, then a week off, then a home game against Bama. So that's first 6. Then you're at Auburn, at Vandy, off, home against A&M, home against Mississippi State, at Oklahoma, at Arkansas, SEC championship game December 6th. There are 4 road games on Mizzou's schedule. Huh. Worth noting.
Yeah, it's crazy. The other thing I will throw in there is that really the big test so far, the biggest test I will say so far of the NIL system and the money being thrown around, it's going to be really tested for the first time this year, and that team is Texas Tech. Now, we have a slight tie because some of the money that they have thrown around in the offseason was for a UB player, bringing in the kicker, Upton Bellenfant, brought him down there, and they have went wild. They got the oil guys that are Red Raiders involved, and they have been spending a lot of money. They should be the most talented team in the Big 12. They have certainly paid like it, and the expectations there are going to be very, very high. But again, if you're not really nerding out, or you're just going to tune in week 1 and go based off of that, you're going to miss the fact that Texas Tech has a very good shot of being 4-0 after the first 4 weeks when they start playing some of their rivals and conference opponents, and are going to be getting real looks as far as, or they're at least going to expect to be getting real looks to make a run at the playoffs, even though at this point, no one is really talking about them. And if they don't, I think that will be another big example of, well, NIL is nice, but you have to do it right. And if you don't, you're screwed. So this is going to be the real litmus test of a team, because it is like 70% going out, spending oil money, bringing in players from around the country.
I'm looking at Miami's schedule. They also only play 4 road games. So in addition to starting at home a lot, 7 of the first 8 being at home, 3 of their final 4 are on the. Oh no, I'm reading it incorrectly. 1, 2, 3, 4 home, 1 road, 2 home, 1 road, 2 home, 2 road for Miami. So that's a normal thing. 4 road games for these teams. That's That's helpful and,
if
worth
you've
noting.
got the money to get the buy games in,
yeah,
you can do it.
Yeah, bring it. That's pretty cool. All right. Wow, it's noon. Did you have anything else, or are we done? If you have something else, I'm ready, but we don't have to.
No, that's it.
That's it. All right.
That's it.
That's good.
That's it. Just Dean Cain and Texas Tech. It's your average Friday afternoon.
Just a Friday. That's fine. All right. We'll talk to you Monday. How's that sound?
Sounds good.
All right. Cool. Scott Wilson is our senior football correspondent. I didn't play the thing. Here's the thing.
With Writer Radio's senior football correspondent.
Although we
Scott
also talked Hallmark.
Let's check in with Writer Radio's senior Hallmark correspondent, Scott Wilson.
All right, forgot to do that. Thank you, man. We'll talk to you next week. I don't have a song ready to play. We were doing like a country theme. None of this would fit with that. So now you got to wait for a second while I find something else that kind of has that vibe. Jason Isbell. How about him? He's Southern. He's from Muscle Shoals, Alabama. People hate this song. I think it's cool. People like super fans of Jason Isbell complain about this song. I like it. I'm going to share it. It's called Super 8. It's Writer Radio.
What are you doing for lunch?
I don't know. I have a turkey sandwich.
We're gonna go around the corner. I think you should come with us. This is a great place.
Okay.
We brought you a shirt.
You get out of here? Will you get out of here? Will you? Now, will you go to lunch? Go to lunch. Will you go to lunch?